Hi, my name's James Clissold, and for my assessment task 1, the construct I've chosen is active procrastination, and I've formulated a new active procrastination scale. Firstly, what is active procrastination? General procrastination has been viewed as an undesirable trait by researchers for decades, defined by Tuckman as the tendency to put off or completely avoid tasks that are in our control. Procrastination has been associated with the inability to meet deadlines, which causes an increased chance in obtaining unsatisfactory results. However, Choi and Moran in 2009 provided an alternative theoretical model in which procrastinators formed two distinct groups: passive procrastinators and active procrastinators. Contrary to the previously mentioned catch-all definition of procrastination, active procrastinators make intentional and deliberate decisions to leave tasks to the last minute. Their strong motivation under pressure, strong capability to complete tasks before their deadline, and ability to achieve satisfactory results means that they do not fit into the definition of regular procrastination. Chu and Moran define the other group as passive procrastinators. The stereotypical type of procrastinators who are unable to plan and coordinate, and therefore complete tasks in the last minute, usually to an unsatisfactory standard. So, why is active procrastination important? Well, when we talk about procrastination as a whole, it has a large impact on productivity, which means that the development of an active procrastination theoretical model can provide value to researchers in many areas, such as organizational, industrial, and also educational. Many researchers and scholars in a wide range of professions have actually considered these new findings as quite novel, and also the counterintuitive nature of active procrastination has been said that it's needed to be studied further. This is what Bowie et al. Found in they wrote in the Journal of Social Psychology. Further research on active procrastination could challenge the negative narrative of procrastination in general, providing information maybe to passive procrastinators on how to transform their destructive behavior. And also could probably provide a little bit of validation to the active procrastinators among us, who may be sort of unfairly targeted. So the psychological test that I've chosen is the active procrastination scale by Choi and Moran. So this is a 4-dimensional scale, and it's got 16 items on it that measure the 4 domains of active procrastination. So these domains are preference for pressure, intentional decision to procrastinate, ability to meet deadlines, and outcome satisfaction. So this scale has a reliability of 0.7 to 0.83, which is quite good. And it does accurately outline the sort of dimensions of active procrastination that differentiate it from passive procrastination. But McCloskey and Scialzo in 2015, when they were creating an academic procrastination scale, reviewed this active procrastination scale from Choi and Moran, and found that it does confound processes with outcomes. This means that maybe preference for pressure and the intentional decision to procrastinate could actually be a result of factors such as distractibility and laziness, rather than an intrinsic preference for active procrastination. So the active procrastination scale also only has 4 items per factor, which To this date, like there's only been sort of one study that has validated these four underlying factors that use like an exploratory analysis. But lastly, the criticism that I will be sort of improving in my um, questionnaire is that there's sort of an uneven distribution of reverse coded questions. So if you look at the photo that I've provided, we can see that factor 1 and factor 2 are all reverse coded questions, and then factor 3 is all positively coded questions. And please note in this picture, the satisfactory outcomes have been combined with preference for pressure in factor 2. So if you look there, there's also like preference for pressure and whether or not they get satisfactory outcome questions there. And this isn't very good because reverse worded questions control for acquiescence bias. And this is particularly bad for this scale because the first questions are all reverse coded until the final four questions are positively worded, which I think may probably trip some people up that are taking this questionnaire, and is something that I improve on in the next slide. So here is my new active procrastination scale with my 10 questions, and now all domains include positive and reverse coded questions. And I've provided a link to it, and it's a 10-item questionnaire with a 5-point Likert scale. And so my scale improves on the active procrastination scale because, as I previously mentioned, all domains have positive and reverse coded questions. So these first three relate to the ability to meet deadlines. You can see that they're not all positive or negative. And then going down the list here, it's preference for pressure, satisfying outcomes, and intentional decision to procrastinate to finish it off. And there's a mix of positive and negative coded questions. So concurrent and construct validity. So to measure concurrent validity, I will compare the results of my study to the previously mentioned active procrastination scale. And if my questionnaire were to have strong concurrent validity, then a participant would score similarly on both my new active procrastination scale and this old one created by Choi and Moran. To measure construct validity, first I will test for convergent validity. And so similarly to concurrent validity, I'll compare my scale to the active procrastination scale. And with discriminant validity, I'm going to compare my results to the Tuckman procrastination scale. Now, this is the most widely used procrastination scale sort of since it was invented by Tuckman in 1991. And I want to ensure that my scale measures active procrastination and not general procrastination. So hopefully there will be low correlation between my new active procrastination scale and the Tuckman procrastination scale. So my two hypotheses here, concurrent validity hypothesis. So it was hypothesized that a new procrastination scale will have a significant and positive correlation to the active procrastination scale created by Choi and Moran. So this is the scale that I'm sort of basing my scale off and sort of making improvements to. So I will hope to see a strong correlation between those two. And construct validity, I've chosen discriminant validity, and that it was hypothesized that the new active procrastination scale will have significant negative correlation with Tuckman procrastination scale. And it was actually found by Pinkston, the hypothesis is supported by Pinkston in 2019. He sort of ran an analysis and found that there were sort of negative correlations between the two studies, so I hope to emulate that. And finally, here are my references, and thank you for listening.